Divergent thinking is a thought process used to generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. It typically occurs in a spontaneous, free-flowing, non-linear manner, such that many ideas are generated in an emergent cognitive fashion. Many possible solutions are explored in a short amount of time, and unexpected connections are drawn. Welcome to Minds in Formation. We're going for it. We're live, baby.
Okay.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Yeah, I have not had many Aperol Spritz before. They're pretty good, though.
They are.
You said not your favorite, though, with the lime soda. You'd like plain club soda's better?
Plain club soda or something that's like orange tangerine goes with it. Lemon lime. You know, now you're going into like Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Where a little different.
Yeah, we said we needed to make some margaritas because at Jess's birthday thing, she got like a bunch of bottles of tequila.
Oh, yeah.
We cracked that one last time you were over, which was really good.
Nice. Yeah. I was thinking about that tonight.
Yeah, it's already gone.
Oh, did it? Oh, dude, that one's so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was like one night, it was like a random, it was like Sunday night. We had a little Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Just for whatever reasons, 2 p.m. We're like, you want a shot of tequila? And we're like, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. Was that not the night when we opened it? That was another night?
Yeah, it was a different night.
'Cause that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, this was just like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Or like last weekend.
That was a good night.
It was. Yeah. Ken was in town. We went out for a little bit. I like Chiba Bar. I like that spot that we ended. It's a cool little
It's
spot.
a cool place. Definitely don't like octopus balls.
Not your thing, huh?
No.
Dude, me and Ken were like, couldn't get enough.
You couldn't get enough. The first time I had that was in Japan, and I almost threw up, but I did spit it out.
Really?
For sure, and I felt like I was disgracing my friend that was Japanese, and that bought it for me.
Damn.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I thought they were so good. Like,
But they're
I
a
could
lot
eat 'em
different
as
here
a
than
meal.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a lot more like octopus juice inside it, and it was scorching hot, street food style. I was like, it's so hot I can't swallow it. Octopus juice. No.
Yeah, too much. That's
That
not
one had like
something-
more cream cheese in it, I think.
Yeah,
Or like
it
some
was-
type of cheese or sauce.
Yeah, I think they're like potato balls with chunks of octopus and whatever else they put in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. But I get what you're
Maybe
saying.
they're different then.
When I was in Korea, I lived there for 2 years when I first joined the Army, and loved it. Had a great time. But there were certain times with some of the foods over there where I'd be like, dude, that's fucking gross. Like live octopus, like they just throw them in a soup bowl and they're squirming around. I'm like, I'm good on that. That's unnecessary.
Yeah, I'll eat fresh octopus. Well, I say fresh, but I don't know what that truly means. But like octopus where you see the tentacles, you know, I'll eat that. It's just chewier.
Yeah.
I think it's like the hot oil that those are fried in. And then, yeah, that like juice water or fish water is not good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Pretty much never want like fish juice.
No.
It's gross. I love how they have street food over there, though. That's so dope.
Japan, yeah.
We'd go hit the town. I mean, for me,
Oh,
it was
Korea.
Korea,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they had the same
My
thing.
sister's in Japan right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go hit the town. We walk out of the bars, and there'd be
yeah.
a whole bunch of people just grilling food right outside. We just get these chicken on a stick things, like $1 a piece. Like, this is awesome.
Here you can get hot dogs.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, I don't even know if they have that here.
Not so much in the Springs.
Yeah.
In Denver, they always have
Outside of like concerts and stuff like that, they always have like
like
and those ones are bomb where they do like bacon, onions, jalapenos,
Yeah.
everything around it.
yeah, you get the whole nine. Those ones are pretty good. I've definitely housed a few of those after shows.
I remember they have them all the time in San Francisco. I remember when Venmo was like a new thing and I had no cash or whatever. I'm like, do you take Venmo? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing.
Yeah,
I can get street hot dogs with Venmo now.
absolutely. Yeah, we don't have a lot of late night options in the Springs.
Because there's not like a congregated area of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I've bitched about it a bunch, but me and Jess both agree. It's like there's so many cool things about Colorado. Your access to nature. People are pretty nice and polite for the most part. But the scene, at least in Colorado Springs, is whack. It's like basically
The
non-existent.
scenery is good though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you gotta balance it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's hidden gems, I feel like, but it's nothing like a big city, that's for sure.
No. I think that's part of the reason I love snowboarding so much. It's not only do I love the activity, but it's like a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. when it snowed just the other day, or it was like snowed on the mountains yesterday. I was picking up Thai food and I just smelt the snow, and I was like, I kind of wish it was winter again.
Yeah. Well, especially
I
because
got robbed of a winter.
Oh, big time. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But I guess that last storm, I was listening to some weatherman guy that I follow. I can't remember his name, but he's like, it really helped stabilize our snowpack because there was such a heat wave in March and it was already a dry, warm winter. But the snowpack was just getting demolished. But I guess in some places it snowed like 2 feet, and they're like, okay, this is good because we won't get as nuked by fire season. Like, it's still spicy, but this storm helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, any snow is going to help fire season, but this winter there was not much snow at all.
No, it was crazy.
Like, I mean, I didn't look at the mountain cams all the time, but anytime I did, it would be empty.
Yeah, and I'm
Like
pretty
that meter,
sure.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And like the base was always low. It was like barely hanging on, way lower than it should be. And if I'm not mistaken, I think some of the big resorts never even opened their full terrain.
Yeah, I don't think any of them did for sure.
Yeah, they couldn't. Anytime I went up, there was hella spots roped off.
Yeah, not ideal.
Bummer, dude.
Bummer for us. They're probably hurting hard too, so they'll probably increase the prices to make up for it.
Yeah, who knows? And there was this whole debacle with Telluride too, which I know is not fully associated. Like, it's like kind of associated with Epic. You get partner days there if you get an Epic pass. But this like billionaire guy that owns it just like shut it down because the workers were trying to strike or something. And he was like, "Fuck you!" Close the whole thing.
Yeah, they were requesting more money or something like that.
Something, I don't know the full story, but I know it was a shit show, and there was a lot of people that, like born and raised here, and they're like, dude, that is not how shit is supposed to roll in Colorado. You don't just shut down an entire industry because a town like that needs that to survive.
Yeah, but I think they stopped working. So
True.
they went on strike. So
Yeah,
if
there
they
was a
stopped
strike.
working, are you going to have like, I mean, I'm not trying to back up that owner, but like if ski patrol's not running, you're going to allow skiers to go backcountry?
Totally.
Like, that's just a risk. And now there's the lawsuit. Like, I mean, it's like if a restaurant, if you don't have any staff, front of the house staff, you know, keep the kitchen open. No way. So it's kind of both. But I understand, like, or I feel for both. Like, the workers wanting more money because the cost of living is so high over there.
Yep.
And I understand that guy, I don't know the details of his books and all that. I'm sure he's got the money.
Right.
But
no, I that's a good point. I mean, because, you could see his side and be like, fuck you, you're not going to shake me down, dude, and, like, go on strike and demand a bunch of shit from me. I mean, even if he is a dick, he might just be like, fuck it, bro.
yeah. I mean, there's, like, what I was calling out was, like, the risk factor, maybe for his business. Maybe that's it. I'm sure they were probably going from, I don't know, $25 an hour to $30 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could come up with that, but there's probably more to it than just that, But maybe, or he... Big swinging dick that just said, fuck off. You're not going to put pressure me. You know? I don't know.
Which I can respect, even if that is. I can respect it to a degree. I mean, because if you're in that position and you got money burning a hole in your pocket, you might be like, go fuck yourself.
I don't know too much about that area, but I've been there, and I did watch, actually, a YouTube video the other night of this guy exploring that area from Cortez to Telluride, and like towns of 0 people, ghost towns. Going to Telluride off season, it's pretty much a ghost town. And he ran into one of 3, he ran into a couple, which is one of, I think it was 4 like families that are 4th generation Telluride.
Damn.
He got lucky running into this person because their ancestors 4 generations ago bought thousands of acres out there when it was dirt cheap, before there was a ski town, before there was anything.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, fuck,
they're like multi-millionaires now,
of millions.
just from what's been handed down to the family.
They still have the land, you know what I mean? And so they don't sell it. But I mean, that's a small valley, right? And there's any ski town, the only thing that's bringing money is not even really the ski slope. I guarantee their profit margins are probably very low. It's all the hospitality, but they're dependent on the ski slope being open.
Yeah.
And it's seasonal too, right? Because, like, even Breck, like, they don't have a downhill mountain bike park there. Keystone does.
Yeah, Keystone does for sure.
But Breck doesn't, and Breck has all the restaurants. So it's like those restaurants make their money only during the winter season.
Yeah.
So if you have bad snow, you know, I mean, that impacts all the restaurants. And
Breck might be big enough though, and like semi close enough to Denver, just to attract enough people that just go out there for the day, or you know, camp nearby, or hike nearby, or fish nearby, or something.
some, but not.
I mean, not like the winter. But Telluride.
I guarantee you they make 90% of their money during, like, for the annual year. They make 90% during the winter.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But Telluride is crazy because they pretty much shut down for a couple of months in the fall and the spring, where it's just there is nothing there. Everyone leaves.
Yeah.
In the summer, you know, it's quiet, but there's a lot of people. There's a really beautiful hiking and just nature and stuff. So
They also got what I learned is all these festivals. So they have like a film festival.
like a blues festival. Too, I
Yeah,
think, or
blues
something.
festival, a couple.
Yeah.
So they said the whole town, they actually changed the school time, like when school's off. They actually extend it. So that way, like, there's a certain period, like it's like a week after ski season, everyone leaves town for like a month.
That's crazy.
So it's like a ghost town, you know what I mean?
That's so wild. It's isolated too. It's out there.
It's fucking far.
And there's nothing nearby.
No.
There's Ouray, which is even smaller.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I mean, what's your next closest town? Like Grand Junction? Which
That's
is
why
like
I'll
an
come
hour and
off
half,
like
2
a
hours
dick where
away.
I'll be like, if you're bitching about your pay, you're working in a place that's very volatile,
Yeah.
you know? You're already working a job that season.
Yeah.
You're dependent upon Mother Nature,
Big
you know?
time.
Like,
Yeah,
go
and this-
somewhere else where there's guaranteed snow, you know?
And this winter showed you too. You got to be careful with that shit. I mean, I get it. It sounds like a really cool job. Like I could see myself doing it later in life just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Like being like a ski instructor or something, and just because.
I'll be a bartender on the hill.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
But if like that's how you're trying to build your career, I mean, good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you're not doing that job for the money. You're doing it for the sessions.
Right.
You can just go ride.
Yeah, which
But
I
I
could
understand
see
you
for.
have to put. Well, I don't know. I don't know the details of those companies, but do they give them lodging? Do they not? Like, what do you need money for? if
There's
you're
some
living your
available.
dream?
Yeah, it depends. So we had a homie that worked up there for a little while at Keystone, and he lived in something that I would basically say is like barracks, kind of. You know, like
Yeah.
so we had like a place, but it's nothing that great. You might have a hot plate and a microwave, you
Yeah.
know, and it's not a home. But
Yeah.
if you're a young guy that just wants to shred and like, you know, smash babes that are coming to visit from wherever, and you're just having a good time for 4 or 5 months. I mean, that's cool. But again, you can't turn that into like a career.
Yeah. Do you think they're living the dream at that moment?
At times, yeah.
So it's like, what more do you need if you're living the dream already?
Yeah. And I mean, if it's your favorite shit and
Yeah.
you can find a way to be happy. I mean, I think about that sometimes. It's like, you know, you get obsessed. At least I do. I get kind of obsessed with finances and like trying to like level up and things like that.
Yeah.
Then you encounter someone that came from like Venezuela and lives in a hut, and they're like the happiest people
Yeah.
ever. And they're like just living it up.
Well, do you do that for like the planning for the future?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the difference where like they're doing this job to live in the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're living the dream in that moment. They're not thinking long term, you know,
Yep.
path or success or future generations, or I can need to start saving money for kids or
Right.
future family, whatever,
Totally.
or the cost of living is going to increase. There's like fucking spring break.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it to a degree, but I mean it's healthy and it's been good for me. You know, I track all my numbers, I monitor everything, I try to be really proactive, and you know, over time I found that by doing that, it has given me more freedom than I would have otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. It's delayed gratification, right?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta like know when to put your head down and get to fucking work, and then you can celebrate later.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big difference, and everyone's different. But, I mean, I think if they could teach delayed gratification in school, a lot more people would be better off mentally.
Yeah.
Because, especially in the modern era, we
Oh,
all
yeah.
live for instant dopamine hits.
Big time. It's a big
Yeah.
problem now.
Yeah.
Big time problem. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to handle, you know, and in your future, you know, not incredibly far away, comes up quick. You'll have to decide how you want to handle that with your own children and like what you want them exposed to. Because on one hand, I get it. It's so tempting and it's so easy because you'd be like, here's a tablet with YouTube on it. Like, just go do your thing. And instant babysitter, they'll leave you alone. You can go get shit done.
So we said we would not do that. And
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we don't do the iPad or phone. But like I told you earlier, you want to watch some music videos? You want some rock and roll?
Yeah.
Daddy would love to show you some rock and roll because Daddy wants to watch some rock and roll too.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, like we're not gonna like let you brain rot. Be like, if you want to watch Black Sabbath videos, I'm down.
so like I think for me, it's like I cannot be a hypocrite. And so if I don't want anyone, like someone that I'm raising, I shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if I like watching music videos, then, you know, I mean, try to keep it balanced. I think everything's about balance, you know?
100%.
But I think personally, I would rather watch music videos or less actually cartoons because they're so manipulative. I worked in the gaming industry. I understand how to manipulate human behavior. Mm-hmm. So it could be the coloring, it could be the frames per second, all these different variables that you have control of to help manipulate.
Yeah, it's like a little form of crack. Then they just like can't look away.
Yeah. And so I think with music, of course you can't look away, but it's like at least I feel like it's different.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know, I wouldn't say cartoons aren't creative or aren't art, but I guess personally I feel like music is much more artistic than a cartoon.
Yeah, man. I was deep in that. Like, I think naturally, well, no, my dad was into it, so I think he probably planted the bug. But I remember being pretty young and having this VHS tape, and my dad had recorded a bunch of random music videos. It was all over the place. I remember that song, like Sledgehammer. You know that song, Sledgehammer? It's like an 80s song. You would totally know it. And there'd be like a couple Dire Straits songs, and there'd be like a couple Michael Jackson music videos. And I loved watching these music videos from like VH1 because I don't even think MTV was really out.
So he
yet.
recorded the TV, or he had like a camcorder filming the TV?
Yeah, he recorded the TV. Like you used to be able, like you could record your TV
button.
show,
I think so,
bam, and you could like watch it
on
later.
a blank VHS tape that was probably hooked up.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I loved watching that thing.
Yeah.
I used to wear it out, and I would watch VH1 and stuff all the time. And then when I got a little older, I had my little recordings. I was like trying to record them and make my own like little mixtapes. And I'm like 6 years old or something.
Really?
I loved music, and I loved music videos specifically. Yeah. So when MTV went to like more and more reality shit, or they would just show little clips on like TRL, they only play like 30 seconds of the song. I was like, oh, bro, this is lame.
I know of mixtapes like CDs. I've never thought or heard of mixtape VHSs.
Yeah, and cassette tapes too. I made mixtape cassette tapes too.
Do you think those will ever come back?
Only if there's some sort of technological reset, like a meteor or
it's not like the
atom bomb.
Well, then why are vinyls still a thing?
There's something classy about it.
There's nothing classy about a cassette tape?
I don't think so.
A Walkman?
I don't think so. You're like, this is a piece of shit. It's plastic. The tape is like fucking fucked up. The sound quality's not that good. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And even a CD scratches up, and like I don't think that there's a lot of people collecting CDs.
I think that's it actually. With a vinyl, you pick up the needle and move it. With a VHS or cassette, you have to rewind the tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot harder.
Totally.
And like think about like you're driving your truck, you hear a cool song on a Discovery Weekly on Spotify, and you're like, oh shit, I like the song, I want to start it over. One button. Totally. On a vinyl, less than maybe a second to move over the needle. On a cassette or Matt's mixtape VHSs, pull it out, rewind machine, count the seconds till you think it's there, put it back in.
Well, you could rewind in the player.
Oh, you
It
could?
just wasn't as fast.
Oh, okay.
But then even then you'd have to try to time it.
That's
You press
modern
play.
technology. Back in the day, didn't you have to have like a rewinder, like VHS thing?
It was just faster. So like,
we
used to get a
faster.
lot of like
Okay.
Blockbuster. We used to go to Blockbuster and shit all the time.
Yeah.
And you take it out of the VCR, and slap it into the rewinder, and it would just like hyper rewind it and be like.
I remember that when you go to Blockbuster, they had like all the rewinders behind the desk, and when you returned it, they would immediately open it, put it in a rewinder, like close it, and rewind it.
Yeah. He used to say
so
on the
funny.
boxes, like, be kind, rewind.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like, hook up the next guy. Make sure you rewind it.
Damn.
So when he just comes home hammered and wants to watch Terminator 2, he can just slap it in.
What's something that we use in our everyday life that's kind of like that, where it's kind of we don't know it's archaic right now? So I guess if you realize
It's going to be everything.
Well, I was going to say well, of course, but if you use it today, you're obviously not going to think it's archaic. So we have to think about what takes like a good chunk of time to do something that's kind of small.
I mean, like I said, it's honestly going to be everything. We're in a period of such technological revolution that goes so fast. Even 20 years, we'll look back to certain things we're doing now and be like, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But one interesting concept that I heard, I think Elon was talking about it, is computer programs, apps, things of that nature, even movies and music to a lot of degree. People, they won't need to be made. You will have some sort of device or interface. Let's just say it's like a phone type thing, but it'll essentially just render whatever you want. Like if you want to play a game, it'll like render it in real time. You talk to the agent and be like, I want to play a game. Like these are the things I like. And it'll just be like, just created you a fucking perfect game or a perfect movie that you could just talk about things that you like and that you would be interested in checking out right now, or music. And at that point, probably be pretty good at reading your mood, and you just tell your AI, be like, play some music, and it would know like exactly what to play, and you just be like loving it, and you're like, thanks, fucking robot.
Yeah. I mean, as someone that kind of works in that space, I feel, and I literally had this conversation just like the other day, or a similar vein, where if it's content or art that's like a one-time thing, like if you think about a solitaire game, okay, the rules are defined. You build it once, you're good. You don't have to do any live ops or change the storyline. Similar with movies, unless you come up with a sequel. You know, if you do a TV series, if they have multiple seasons, like based off the performance of the first one, you're going to adapt to the second one, right? What was the most clipped or whatever kind of thing. Worked. Or like in my case, like with the thing I'm working on, it's like live ops, right? So you can build something easily or easier than you ever could before, but you still have to be able to modify things to improve your funnels, to improve engagement, to improve retention, improve customer satisfaction. Like those things that are actually live that people are not consuming once predominantly, and then they're good, but like there's like a storyline or evolution. Those things are a little bit different. I'm not saying AI couldn't eventually do it, but it has to create something, gather data, read that data, change the product in a like a forever evolution kind of thing, you know, until you hit just like, I guess, perfect stats, you know.
I don't think it would be that hard for it though. Like if it gets to that point where it can render, you know, like whatever you want to be interested in at the time, like in real time, I don't think there's anything that would prevent it from just keeping it going, because it's already, I remember, you know, even 6 months or a year ago, you'd be talking to one of the AIs and it would sometimes have difficulty staying on track, or you could have it create a picture and then you would tell it to modify it and then it starts making crazy shit that's nowhere near where you're supposed to be. But it already stays on track, like much better.
Much better. Not perfect, but much better.
Not perfect. And it's just like exponential growth, dude. Like every patch, I'm just like, damn.
That's right. I think it's like, it is already easier to build, but just building something isn't the end goal, right? If you think of it as a product, or say it's a movie, okay, you can create Lord of the Rings through AI, but now you got to market it. And now you have to do other things. Okay, so what's the marketing budget for some of these movies? You know, okay, even if the cost of production goes down, there's still token costs or whatever, etc. You know, okay, it's not a $50 million movie. Now it's just $500,000 movie. Okay, cool. You made Lord of the Rings for $500,000, but it's not Lord of the Rings at that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that brand, right? So then you got to market it. And then so how do you do all that? And like they can do aspects to it, but then you still unless it's all organic, which then you're just spending a lot of time in compute processing to learn how to market it. Then there's that time frame that you crushed. Like there's a lot of facets going into a business, you know.
Well, it's probably so saturated at that point. Like when it's to that degree where you just like boom, make Lord of the Rings over the course of a week, you know, with a couple homies, and it costs you like a couple $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be 10 million people doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And there's gonna be so much shit. Like it already feels like there's so much shit.
So like, even the thing I'm working on, it's like I haven't seen anyone do it exactly. I did see one person. I could see like their website was like created after mine that is trying to do it. But I already even told myself this in the era that we live in right now, where it is easier to create things. It's going to be about speed to market and scale, right? Because if you can dominate and take market share of that niche that you're entering, whether it's a new one or an old one, it's going to be about that, right? Can you get attention? Can you gather the market's attention for your name versus before anyone else? You know, it's like Uber, Lyft. Like Uber was the first mover. They gained a lot, but Lyft came around, they were second. But now if you try to do the same thing,
not going to work.
I mean, you're going to have to spend tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to get to their level at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we're in the attention era. Like it's not necessarily what you can create. It's about, can you create something and more importantly get their attention.
Yeah, and
get
keep
the
it
market's
relevant.
attention and keep it relevant.
Yeah.
That's really live ops. So yeah, I mean,
What's the company called? Do you want to plug it and throw a link on?
yeah, Laura.
Laura?
ALLORA, texalora.com.
Okay.
It's an Italian word for, it's like our
Okay.
You know, when we're like so it's like so then.
Oh, interesting.
They usually just say allora and then they say what they say.
So it's like a filler. It's just going to be like, yeah.
So it's like so then or whatever. So
interesting.
yeah.
That's cool.
I could talk more about it if you want, but
yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know much about it, but I've also like never really been involved in business or any type of marketing or development. I've just always done fucking
it
army
didn't start
shit.
off. It's supposed to be a business, really. Yeah, I mean, I just finished my school, my MBA, and then I was aware of AI. I mean, I was on the open beta for ChatGPT like in 2021, I think, but I never really used it. And then when I left the gaming industry, I told some people I wanted to explore AI, but I never really did. I was curious about it, but never jumped into it. And then throughout my MBA, I mean, I used some of it a little bit, but at that point, it wasn't all that, you know. It helped a lot, but, you know, you can only get so much. So then the day after I finished, I was like, well, let me backtrack. Before, I was like, I want to get out of tech. I want to do something different. I want to get my hands dirty kind of thing. And then maybe buy a local business or something like that. But then this space was evolving so fast that I was like, all right, I want to jump in. I'm going to give myself 2 weeks and just see what these tools are all about and see what I can do. And then I'll reevaluate in 2 weeks. And so that was my plan. And then like the night before, I was like, what do I want to build? And then someone I know has ADHD, you know, struggles with to-do lists and all that. And I was like, what if I just try to like solve that problem? I'm like, there's already to-do apps. There's all that. But I worked in the app industry. You have to see an ad, go to the app store, download that ad, sign in, do a tutorial, learn how to do this new app. And then even with to-do apps or any product management software, you have to put something in, you have to prioritize it, you have to estimate the time, you have to put descriptions.
Kind of a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and now you're managing something else. Well, people with like ADHD or people that are just super busy and their minds are going, you know, 1,000 miles an hour, they want to be able to just brain dump, you know, things and not have to manage another thing on top of them. And I've always kind of been interested with text because it's one step closer than an app. It is in your messaging app, but you don't have to download something that's already installed on your phone through the OEMs, you know. It's already there.
Yep.
And
people respond to it.
People respond to it because I guarantee you 99% of the world at least does one text message a day.
Yeah.
You know, where apps, you have to accept push notifications. So that's another obstacle, right? So if you think about the funnel of acquiring users, it goes from ad to app store to download tutorial. So the funnel, there's so many points away from like a marketability perspective that things can break.
There's a lot of gates too where people will abandon it.
Exactly. That's my point. And then they have to do push notifications to make it effective. So that's why there's like, why I haven't gone all in on WhatsApp yet is because it's a similar thing. It's like, I want it to be notified. I want you to be able to create like a custom ringtone so that way you know when you hear this, you're being reminded of something. So anyways, yeah, so I was like, how can I solve the to-do list, problem via text message? And so I just started building something for my wife. And as I was in like 1 week or two, I think it was like 1 week, I was like, holy shit. Like I already got a proof of concept, it's working at a basic level, right? And so I was like, I have another week, I'll just keep doing it. Put up a website why did I do that? I think just to like have it up there. Because I was like, although if I want to see if this has any traction or any product market fit, I need to put it out there. But I literally did zero marketing and I just put up a website and then people were finding it through Google, through ChatGPT referrals were recommending it. I'm like, how the fuck does it already know this?
Yeah.
Or like know much about, I'm using it a little bit, using OpenAI, Anthropic, different things back and forth. Maybe that helps. I have no idea. And it was free at that point, but people were downloading it, or not downloading it, like using it. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I was kind of caught off guard. And then I think I did like, okay, I'm going to do 2 more weeks or whatever. And just like the progress, like we were just talking about, like how easy it is to build something is like the first phase. And I was like blown away, like, holy shit, this is crazy. I could take this much further. And as I was seeing people come in, I was like, okay, there's something here, seeing people respond like, I love you, or like, thank you so much, or just like interesting things. I was like, okay, this is helping, even though it didn't help the person I built it for, but it helped other people. And so I was like, okay. And I've only been working on it, I think, what now? Oh yeah. In 2 days, I'll hit 3 months.
Damn.
But it was similar to what I said, like building it was one thing, but then something I've learned throughout this time is the diversity of, because it's predominantly English-based U.S., the diversity of how people communicate via text message is extremely different from person to person. We can say the same thing and like the same 5 words, but they're all structured differently.
Totally.
My 5th word will be your first word. You may put a comma, I don't put a comma, whatever. And for me, it was like, I don't want to have too much AI because like I built it with AI, but I don't want too much AI involvement in it, because if you're managing people's calendars, you're doing, dumping their minds really kind of in their day-to-day to-dos kind of thing in there. I personally just don't want all that, going to these companies or whatever.
Yeah.
And so to build everything ourselves, we have to be able to parse and understand what this means and how we're supposed to act on it, It sounds kind of easy, but what I'm realizing, it's not that easy. Yeah. Yeah, so
that's cool.
That's pretty much it. And now it's in a lot different state than it was after 1 month. And so it's showing promise. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? Is you just figure out a problem or an issue and you provide a solution to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the key.
Being a good businessman in general.
Yeah. I think, as someone that's been entrepreneur minded, I've only done one company before. It sounds easier, but finding that problem.
Yeah.
It can be hard, but you just have to open up your mind kind of and explore. And sometimes it's probably just right in front of you. And I honestly did have a light bulb moment. We were in bed, and then I was like, we were talking about her to-do list. And I'm like, light bulb. It actually, like, it, for the first time in my life, the light bulb actually went off where I was like, ding.
Yeah, like that could work. That could be
I was
something.
like, well, why don't I start there? You know, versus trying to explore, okay, what problem do people have in the world? Deal with a problem that you have or someone that you live with or is nearby that you care about. Start there, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. That's a cool quality. I was telling you a little bit prior to the show, but I'm not really an idea guy. And I've always kind of looked at that as like a cool feature that some folks have. Because I've kicked it around too, and I love the idea of being an entrepreneur myself. And I've sat back and thought about like what direction would I try to go, what would I try to work on, and I don't get a lot, and those thought experiments don't ever really go anywhere for me, and they don't last long. It's like I don't know. I think just the way my personality works, I'm a better executor.
Yeah.
Like I'd be a good partner with an idea guy.
For sure.
So if there's an idea guy and they need an executor, I'm way better on the
I
execution
have an idea
side.
for you that before, I think a few days ago, I was thinking Matt would be the perfect person to execute on this idea that I have.
Yeah.
We'll save that for another conversation. But to kind of dive into what you're saying, what you just said was like, oh, I would like to start something, but I don't know where. But you're already starting with the funnel like so broad at that point. And so, you won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you
Like
host
it's
a
overwhelming.
podcast. And so, like, if you think about it in the same concept where, like, okay, you have a show, you have a guest, you have a conversation, you kind of got to narrow it somewhere or, like, have some string attached that kind of keeps it a little bit in the same capacity where, from my understanding, it's more about like exploration of the minds of thoughts that you have conversations around the campfire late at night.
Yep.
So once you can narrow that in, then you can get a little bit closer. And that's kind of where I was asking about like the VHS stuff. I'm like, what's something that we do in our day to day that takes quite a bit of time?
Yeah.
You know, one thing I was thinking about doing was like, sounds a little crazy, but I know other people probably do it, is like actually like clock in everything you do in the day. You know, so that way you can act and do it for like a week. And so then you can be like, okay, give me a report. What did I spend time on? Okay, I spend 5 minutes twice a day brushing my teeth. I do 15-minute showers, you know, shit, probably way too long. Let's probably play video games on there, you know, like just think about it. And like once you can understand that time, you can be like, okay, well, what's the effectiveness of that time being spent? You know,
It's like a different form of a budget. It's a time budget.
I mean, one thing I like read today too was like maybe 10 years ago with like Uber and all that, it was like the value of time, right? We'll pay for, I think you even mentioned earlier, like, I mean, I do too. I value my time, so I'll pay more for time.
Yep.
But is it time or is it attention? You know, if one thing takes like an hour, then this other thing takes an hour too, but this takes so much more of your attention where it can be mentally fatiguing or whatever versus this doesn't take that much mental space. Are they equivalent?
Definitely not. And even your view of how they pass is so much different.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like when you're in flow state and you're crushing it, and you're like, dude, I just smoked 7 hours and like barely moved. Maybe walked off and pissed once or twice and grabbed coffee or whatever, but I was just crushing it. Whereas if you're just bumming around and, you know, like time is just dragging like crazy when you're wasting it.
It's because it sucked your attention.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the attention, I guess, from the experiment I just said, measuring your time. Maybe that's not the right experiment. Maybe it's measuring your attention.
Yeah.
Because even if you're like, say you're doing schoolwork or watching a movie, is your attention actually there?
Yeah.
Or is it elsewhere? I mean, it's going to be a very hard thing to measure. But if you can measure the mind, that'd be pretty crazy.
You'd need maybe some type of agent or something that you interacted with that was kind of aware of what you were doing with your like digital footprint, so it could already kind of measure that thing on its own, but maybe that it would prompt you throughout certain activities, or somehow find a way to interact with you a little bit, so that you could maybe give some feedback. Like it'd be like, you've been doing X for 2 hours. Like, are you crushing it right now? Or are you just fucking wasting away right now? Like, what's actually happening?
Yeah, I don't think we have to get in like the Neuralink space quite yet. But like, don't they have sensors where like they can measure if you're using like your frontal lobe or your, I'm not a science person, your something cortex or whatever. Like the different, because like one's like critical thinking, the other one's like something else. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder, like, even if that was relatively easy, just putting up some sensors for 24 hours.
Yeah, or just like wear some weird beanie and it's like fucking dialing you in.
I think we already know the answer. The results would be pretty sad if we compare it today to like modern era, where they say we don't have much, or modern society doesn't use much of their critical thinking skills, so they don't use that much part of their brain.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like the tension we're talking about. Like, how much of your brain power? I mean, okay, AI. What is it? What's required to run it?
Yeah, compute energy.
Okay, what's it take to run a human?
I mean, essentially the same thing.
Brain power.
Yeah, brain power and energy.
Yeah, and so it's like we can measure tokens of compute. Can we measure tokens of compute here?
There probably is a way. It's probably a depressing set of information, though, like you were alluding to, and I've been hearing more and more talk about how it's projected to get significantly worse. People are already seeing it in schools. You know, we already know that public education is kind of a disaster, but there's like measurable drops in IQ and attention span, and people start to think out when motherfuckers are just bed rotting all the time, and any little problem, they're just asking ChatGPT to tell them what the answer is. It's like people's brains are just going to start shutting down, dude.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, even with what I'm building, like,
can I smack that?
Yeah, I get involved, and I feel like human involvement is needed in the current space of AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not quite there where you can just fully go. There needs to be that, but I don't know why I was talking about that. What I really wanted to say was what you were just talking about. I've never been an academic person.
Yeah, me neither.
And I can explain why. And I don't know, is it Asperger's or something like that? I can remember ever since I was young, when I was in class, I would never even be looking at the teacher. I'd be looking head kinked up at the ceiling, pondering, thinking, whether it was designing subwoofer speakers in my vehicle or, you know, trying to come up with some way to make money, you know, doing something, but constantly thinking that was using my critical thinking perspective, like part of the mind, but wasn't on this boring subject or boring, you know, person that's instructing the thing. It just didn't interest me. Yeah. And so
I think there's two things happening in that. It's that you're intelligent, so sitting through a shitty presentation is always going to be tough. But ADD, I think Rogan talks about this. It's like ADD is like one of those things. It's like almost not real, but it's just like it depends on where you focus your energy. Yeah, because if you force someone with ADD to like sit in a fucking shitty presentation, then they're going to be losing their mind. Mm-hmm. But if you find them something that they're dialed in on, that they enjoy, like drop that motherfucker off and come back 12 hours later and they're still just like, so it's just like you can't deal with bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know if that's truly ADD or that's just human. Like,
well, yeah, it's everyone to a degree, but I just think the ADD thing gets thrown around too much because
they typically don't focus unless they have a left and right limit and they're guided and there's clear instructions of what they need to do and they're passionate about doing that.
Yeah, and that I think is the most important part.
That brings out their ADHD superpower.
Right,
is exactly. When they have guardrails, they know what to do, and they're excited about it. Mm-hmm. I think for me, in like the school example was like, I've kind of been like, I mean, I say this for back then. Maybe I would change my response, but I'm like, why do I care about this old historical shit all so much in detail? do I really need to know this person when they were born or fucking everything they said?
Yeah.
No, I need to know like the general. I actually don't think I need to know the general. I need to like, what's the cliff notes? What's the key takeaway? It's like, okay, they made this decision. It didn't work out in their favor. What was the like, AAR? What was the after action review of
Yeah, give me
like,
the
what did we
bullets.
take away from that? Okay, that's what I need to know. And that's why I was like, this is fucking boring. They want me to like do tests on all this like stupid shit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, why the fuck do I need to know every capital of every state in the United States?
I know. And now it's like you don't need to know anything. So it's like, how are we going to shift education? It's like it needs to shift towards how to think, how to critically think, how to problem solve, maybe other forms of intelligence. Like you might like emphasize like social intelligence and interaction and financial literacy and stuff, and no more memorizing bullshit. I do think that's like a positive thing that we can do in the new world is we can get away from wasting our fucking time with bullshit.
Yeah, for sure. The whole topic of school will be concerning when I have to deal with that with my kids, but I know my older brother is having to deal with it, and the subjects they remove or the topics within those subjects that they're, forcing down their throats, and it's like, wait, what? Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying what we were raised up on is correct either, but hopefully it's evolving based off data that it's going in the right direction and not the wrong direction, or not for someone else's motive.
Yeah, man, because it can get real fucking weird. If all the IVF stuff works out, I'm leaning pretty heavily towards homeschooling, and maybe we get like an au pair, something that like helps out with that situation. But I'm like just not interested, because public education is a low quality product overall. And what kind of nonsensical ideas are you getting exposed to, or just being around a bunch of fucking hood rats with shitty parents that don't have any fucking morals, and
I mean, if we loop this back to like our previous conversation, we were talking about like attention and time, right? Like your kids are going to go to 8 hours a day or whatever, giving their attention is the goal in class to what subject. And if you do that for 18 years, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you think from 18 to 36, their attention, say it's on social media. Well, what's trending or what's popular or what's got their attention will change probably every, I want to say 6 months or a year, but it's probably more like 2 weeks, realistically.
Totally.
But if you think about when their brain is still developing, I guess I'm a new father, right? But I guess I can understand my brother's perspectives when they're more frustrated about it, because they're like in the moment and like, wait, these are the 18 years that their brain's developing, and they're, what's consuming them? Their attention. Yeah. That's a very critical thing to think about,
It really is. I saw something, and it leads me back to thinking more and more about potentially doing a homeschool option. But this was more talking about like daycare and whatever, and kind of the idea of me maybe being a little more traditional and having a stay-at-home mom, most likely in most circumstances, right? But your wife, the mother of your children, is going to be giving like the best version of herself as much as she can to the children, the most of her attention, the things that she thinks are important, she'll be emphasizing with them. Whereas you kick your, 2 or 3 year old off to daycare, and I get it, people got to survive, so I'm not trying to sound like a hater or anything. Yeah. But that person doesn't really give a fuck about your kid's future. They don't really care what kind of person they're going to be. They're collecting a paycheck. Yeah. And so this, your kid is like basically being imprinted upon, like during those stages. They're so formative. Yeah. And you want that imprinting to be of the highest quality that you possibly can.
My wife was homeschooled.
Yeah.
For, I think, most of it. Yeah, I think from the beginning to maybe like middle of high school, and she loves it. Yeah. She loved it, and she would say like they would learn something on the books that they read, and then her mom would like take her outside and like actually put it to work, whether it's nature or bugs or whatever. I guess it's not like history shit, but like they had a ranch.
Yeah.
Let's go learn about water. Let's go learn about, ecosystems and all this stuff.
The root systems of the grass. Or
I guess
whatever.
like if you kind of get out in nature, it's probably more like science, geology, mathematics kind of based, versus.
But imagine just how much more practical that would be. Like if you were able to check the academic block, but then you're also like, okay, we're going to go feed the horses. We got to change a tire on the trailer.
Yeah.
We have to go fix a couple of fence posts. So like you're going to create a fucking badass under that situation. Someone that's super capable, intelligent, can handle themselves, can solve problems, be like, "Oh, whatever. What do we got to do to fix it?"
Yeah. I mean, because you were talking about the trailer, it made me think like mechanics. Like, I feel like this helps me, and I feel like every mechanic probably also does it. It's like the best way to learn how to be a mechanic is like take apart an engine.
Yeah.
Or like for me, a lot of things I try to do is like reverse engineer a thing. It's like, okay, how could this be made?
Mm-hmm.
And then try to like break it down. And then once you've taken apart an engine, since you were actively doing it, you may have a memory, or you put parts in a certain space in a certain sequence. So I know this was the first thing I took off, so that's going to be the last thing to go in.
Yeah.
Then you can learn a lot of different things, whether it's how the engine works or how to take apart something and put it back together.
Yeah.
Okay, how could I do this more efficiently? What parts had grease on it? Why?
Yeah, and you'll develop your own system that will work for you, by doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, I mean, there's no right way or wrong way. Everyone's just trying to figure it out. But I saw a statistic the other day that the numbers of homeschool families is just going up, year after year. It broke it down, like this is what it was in the 80s. It was like maybe 1 million. In the 90s, like 1.5 million, so on and so forth. To where now it's like 6-7 million, and more people are just being like, fuck that.
Yeah, the landscape is changing for sure. Yeah. We talked about it. I appreciated like public schools and the social aspect. I mean, I'm a person that grew up on the streets kind of thing.
Yeah.
For a lower white middle class person, it built character.
Yeah. Totally. There's
got to get
positive
punched.
aspects.
You gotta go through all that. But for someone that hasn't been homeschooled, like my wife was, she said they still went in occasionally and did like a social kind of thing, or they had more time to go do social activities. But the landscaping of education is changing. I mean, I've done most of my post high school stuff online for a reason.
Yeah.
And I know they've someone created this new online school. It's not like an accredited MBA for whatever that means, but it's like you pay, and it's not that much money for the value you get, but it's all like executives at big companies, like predominantly tech, right? They are the instructors. So you're learning from real world.
That's awesome.
People that have executed. Like for me, my entrepreneur professor never started a company. I'm like,
that almost doesn't
this
make
is where
sense.
it baffles in my head of like academics versus like putting it to work kind of thing. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, you can be very smart, don't get me wrong, and like I give you props. I'm not going to shit on you for the knowledge that you do have. But if you've never done what you are talking about, then like if I had a choice of listening from person A to person B where they've done it multiple times and they've failed and have learned from their mistakes versus someone that has like read about that person's failure. So I'd rather go to the person,
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to understand the theory of whatever, but it's another thing to implement it and understand it. And that's the version of it that you want to be getting that experience from. I almost say it's like, and it's just something that drives me crazy. If you see like a fat personal trainer or something, you're like, I'm not going to listen to anything you say. Even maybe you read all the books and you understand the movements and you watched all the videos and you can explain it perfectly. But the fact that you don't implement it yourself, not interested.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Well, bro, I think we got to get some fresh drinks, dude.
Yeah, and a piss break.
Yeah, man. All right, we're back in it.
Back in it.
Yeah, so you were saying something about like podcasting and
Yeah, so we were just talking about like podcasting, editing, and natural flowing versus like chopping things up. And I'm like, and you mentioned Joe Rogan. I'm like, well, Joe Rogan, he has millions and millions of followers, so he's gonna get millions and millions of viewers, and he doesn't really give a shit how many minutes they watch into a 3-hour podcast, maybe even 4. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if you're up and coming, you're trying to game the algorithm, right? And so how do you do that? You measure it. YouTube gives you that data of how many minutes they've watched in.
Yep.
And they incentivize.
Instagram does too. You can
They
look
all
at your
do.
Reels metrics and
They all
and you
do.
see that there's a fucking drop off.
I was doing that for the company. I was experimenting to try to understand. I had TikTok, but I never used it or opened it really until it was for the business, because that's where all this attention is. And so I was like, okay, let me experiment. So literally, I did have, with help of AI, of automating a lot, but we would have to get the data to understand, okay, what's an image do? What's a video do? What's a carousel do? What's the text do? What the font of the text? What's the color of the text? What's the background?
It's the thumbnail,
Well,
if there
this is
one.
for TikToks. Yeah, same thing for the thumbnail. But then it was also like, okay, like the last post I did on TikTok, they went viral for my sense. I think 2 of them are like at 10K, which is obviously not that crazy. But when I was at 60, that's a lot difference.
Absolutely.
The value hasn't came through, but that wasn't the intention right now. The intention was to like understand where we had to learn things of like since I was predominantly doing like images, right, with text on it. It was like the text you actually have. Like what worked for us was like identifier, like calling out the audience, right? And then it was like the body kind of thing. And then that body, what is it? Is it like thought provoking? Is it insulting? Is it whatever kind of character, you put whatever kind of twist you want on it.
Yeah.
And then the closer and kind of thing to it. And what's that closer? It's like, do you want them to like? Do you want them to comment? Whatever. And so experimenting with all these different things, I think I might have told you before, I was like, me playing around with TikTok felt so soulless, where I was like trying to manipulate things just to see what this algorithm would do and how to get people to comment on things. And the last ones I did, which I posted, I don't know, a month ago maybe, or 3 weeks ago, something like that. Those are the ones that went big, and I stopped after that because I didn't want to like influence it. But also my mind was more focused on the product and the user experience versus manipulating these things. But
Yeah.
say all this because it's different depending upon the scale. Like we were talking about earlier. If you're Lord of the Rings or you're GTA, you just got to create a new game and you're going to sell $1 billion.
Right. You're already established.
You're already established. But if you're an up-and-coming independent developer that created a GTA better version, you still have a lot more to learn,
Big time.
And so you have to do different things for different reasons.
It's crazy. There's like a whole science to that thing. And I will be the first to admit I am bad at that. I don't spend a lot of time trying to like figure out what works and what doesn't. And I probably should. And even like TikTok, for example.
Well, you got a wife now.
I know, right?
So you did that. You applied the same thing with a woman.
Yeah.
Like the first time you ask a girl on a date or you talk to a girl, you're probably going to stumble your words. You're going to make a fool of yourself. And you're going to be like, okay, that landed well. That did not land well. Okay. Yeah. Next time around, or whatever it is, skateboarding.
Yeah. You learn what works.
Whatever, you skateboard or even skiing, anything in life.
Yeah.
That's why you got to fail. You got to fail and fail fast and then learn from it.
There's something, and this is just, it's stupid because life is so much life is digital in a large degree, and there's so much opportunity there. And I work in tech, right?
Yeah.
Dude, my new position is a cloud engineer.
Oh, yeah.
But in my personal life, I just don't really get into it. Like
Makes sense.
It's like hard for me to get into. I'm like, boo, like that's fucking lame, bro. Like I know I need to download TikTok and make an account because I make clips even for the show and stuff. I'm like, I definitely should put the clips on there too. I've just been avoiding it because I'm like, TikTok sucks. It's Chinese spyware. But like you said, there's so much attention on it. Like that's where all the eyeballs are at.
So you don't do it. Someone else or something can do it for you.
Totally.
But you do have to put in the time to set up that system.
Right.
But, actually it was funny. I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he's an engineer working in the AI space right now too. And I put on my calendar for yesterday. I put on my calendar for today. And the calendar title was, I am the bottleneck. To remind myself that I am the bottleneck. So the only thing that's like stopping you from putting that is like, you are the bottleneck on everything. And then, especially in this day and age of AI, like I'm running a company by myself, solo entrepreneur, doing all assets or facets from like marketing to development to debugging to customers, all these different things. I'm like, yes, AI has allowed this to be easier to do, but I'm still the bottleneck. So I need to like take a break, strategize, and say, okay, what's taking all my time? Can I create a system to help mitigate that?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just an interesting thought of like, I am the bottleneck.
I love that, dude, because I am such a believer in personal responsibility overall. That's why, like, my compassion has limits because I think everyone is responsible for themselves. If you have poor behavior, poor decision making, or poor discipline, or whatever, and you could look at basically any aspect of life and apply it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's an individual event, dude. It's up
For
to
sure.
you. It is what you make it, and that crosses everything, every aspect.
If there's, two individuals that grew up in the ghettos and poor, one could do something about it. One doesn't need to do something about it. And the opposite, if you come from a rich family, those type of people that they turn out this way. And there's other ones that are rich and still did even better or bigger things or more aspirational things or, so no matter where you're at in life, I agree with you 100%. You have to take some sort of accountability.
Yeah.
If you don't like the environment you're in, I mean, if you're less than 18, you can only do so much. Okay. But once you have that freedom, then you can,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're less than 18, like, I feel like for myself, maybe I was a space cadet most of my life. It's like, whether it was like your son listening to System of a Down, Toxicity on a CD, and dreaming about my future or planning things, this was my outlet from reality. But then I was just like out there kind of envisioning, I guess I wasn't so happy with what was around or the life,
Yeah, you're dreaming.
But I'm like dreaming, okay, how do I get there? What do I gotta do? Okay, what's your 5s and 25s? Kind of just, you have to take some sort of accountability, and it's not easy for sure.
No, it's not. And I do sometimes wonder what it is, if there's some sort of mental strength or resilience that maybe some people have better forms of naturally. Because I have always kind of thought of myself as like I've done pretty well or whatever, but everything seems normal to me, even challenges. I'm like, to take on a challenge is just seems like that's just what I do. It's normal, and like to make myself uncomfortable in certain situations, and I kind of like thrive in that. And I've developed like a lot of good discipline, and it's helped develop my character and all these different things. But then I can look at someone right next to me, and they don't take advantage of things, or they don't take any risks, or they don't do the thing that's difficult, or even walk through the door that's presented right in front of them. And I'm just kind of wonder, like, what is that in someone's brain that will just kind of allow yourself to sit and squalor and not do something about it? It's hard for me to wrap my head around.
I mean, I've been thinking about what you're saying, and a word that's bigger than my vocabulary is probably elasticity.
Yeah.
Where, like, I mean, there's a mixture of things. Some things is trauma, but from past experiences. But I think like what you just described sounded very similar to me too. Is like maybe through our adolescence, like being put in difficult situations or new environments, or being challenged in different ways. It's like you got used to it, and you probably failed a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe got made fun of, maybe got beat up, whatever. And that, I think you have to. I think the people, I mean, for myself, and it sounds like you, it's like we've gone through that, and so it's like it's easier to let that ego go, kind of thing, or you've experienced those kind of failure before, so you're not afraid to fail,
Right.
kind of thing. And so that allows you to go through that door. You may get slapped in the face as soon as you walk through, but that's okay. I can take 2 steps back and check out that other door,
Yeah.
And that's where I tell people, like, it's like, just get your foot in the door. I'd rather you make a decision than not make a decision at all, right? Because you can always make a new decision after you made that one. But if you've never made a decision, well, you did make a decision not to make one, but now you're still where you are, or maybe even back further, and maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's not what you want. But like, you have to, I think ego is like one thing.
Yeah.
And then,
But it's like, even when it blows up in your face, it ends up being a net positive down the road.
yeah.
Like, even when it's a disaster or things are very challenging, or, you had a rough upbringing, like, it sucks in the moment.
Yeah.
But then afterwards you realize, like, oh, there's like a lot of development and knowledge that came from that, and perspective, and things that end up being net positives down the road.
Yeah. There's a good video, Tim Ferriss. You know Tim Ferriss? Mm-mm. Oh, you don't? Mm-mm. Okay. Then I'm going to give you a book. Tim Ferriss wrote the book 4 Hour Work Week.
I've heard of that.
He did like 4 hour like chef or whatever, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Anyways, he created a product, made some money, but then he became an author and podcaster and all this stuff. He's pretty well known, but he did this great talk. It might have been TED Talk or something, but and it relates to stoicism, which I don't know a whole much about. But it was about, instead of goal setting, fear setting. And so, like, I guess there is some aspect where it's like a goal set, but the predominant like exercise you'll go through is plan for the worst case scenario, or like fear. Okay, I want to go do this solo trip. Okay, what am I scared of? Okay, I'm gonna get pickpocketed. I'm gonna end up in the hospital. Blah blah blah. You list out all those fears, and then after those fears, you're like, well, what can I do if that happens? I can call this person. I can do this, or I don't carry cash on me, or I carry X amount, blah, blah, blah. So once you've laid out all your fears and you have like a plan for all those, by the end of it, you already have a plan of like all the worst case scenarios, that it relieves like the anxiety and stress from you to actually go do that.
That's so crazy. That's really funny, actually. And as you were explaining it, that is something that I do naturally. Anyways, I have an overactive mind with maybe a hint of paranoia, but mostly just an overthinker. So I do that naturally in a lot of different circumstances. Like even the travel one. I mean, the last time I went to Mexico City, remember, like, and I probably didn't even sleep that well, like the night before, because I was just thinking of it. I was like, there's like, could be cartel activity. There's like the low percentage of, someone trying to kidnap you.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for petty theft and random violence. And what if you lose your phone? Like, how fucked would you be? Like, do you have any key things maybe that you can write down in your wallet? At least a couple numbers, because most of us don't even remember phone numbers and shit anymore. Like, at least have the embassy phone number or something, and you just go through those things. So that's so funny.
Actually, speaking of that story, I got a fun story. I was in Hong Kong. Oh, yeah. Well, short story, long story.
Go for it either way.
This is long form. Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of my mates was getting married in Australia. He's Australian. And so, I was like, I never got a suit. I need to get a suit. The cost of getting a suit in San Francisco was X. Did my due diligence. The cost of getting a custom-made suit in Hong Kong was
Way better.
way cheaper, and it was by like a notorious guy that does all these things or whatever. And so for the cost of buying a suit in San Francisco, I got 2 custom made in Hong Kong and my flight covered to Hong Kong.
Dope.
So anyways, went to Hong Kong, had a great time, had a great night, ended up meeting some Australians at some bar. I think it was a rooftop or something. And I left my phone, and we were on the same flight to Melbourne. And I left my phone in the Uber. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's shitty.
I have nothing, and I'm like trying to call my phone from the hotel, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's happening. And I'm like, I'm so fucked. I ended up getting to the airport. Oh yeah. And I couldn't buy a new phone in Hong Kong because it doesn't work with like US carriers. And so, I did have a laptop though at my hotel. So when I got to the airport, I connected to the Wi-Fi and I'm like moving my luggage, pull up my laptop. Luckily I think it was like Facebook, added them as like a friend on Facebook. And I like messaged them on my laptop. I'm like, hey, if you get this, I lost my phone last night. Like hit me up. Whatever. I forgot what else it was like. Why it was so critical outside of just losing my phone or whatever.
Did you like pull up your tickets and stuff on there? Or?
To be honest, this is probably like 15 years ago. So it's kind of hard to remember, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, know everything. But anyways, long story short, I had the laptop as backup. I was like, I'll be fine. Sure enough, I don't even think they got the message, but I ran into them at the airport.
Oh, okay.
And I couldn't, what was it? I don't know why. I had to like stay at their place that first night. I don't know. Horrible story of like, why? But yeah, anyways, sorry. Cut that out.
I had kind of one of those. I was so pissed in the moment. And I might have told this story on the show before, so I'll give the fast version. But me and my ex-girlfriend were traveling in South Africa. We were there for like 2 weeks. We had a great time.
Yeah.
Like South Africa is dope. I don't know if you've ever been.
No.
It's dope, dude.
I'd like to go.
I've heard it's gone downhill. It's a little spicy now, but when I went,
So
it was pretty
Portland.
rad. Yeah, totally. We did like a whole tour, but anyways, we ended after 2 weeks. We did all this shit, and we're in Cape Town, and we're going out to party, and we're out there during the day doing a little day drinking. It's probably like 3 or 4, whatever. And we had 1 or 2 people, I think at least 2, say like, "Hey, have a good time. South Africa's great, Cape Town's dope, but don't stay out really too much after dark." And we're like we kind of like we're looking at him weird, and my ex-girlfriend at the time, she's like a real social justice warrior, and even for me, I was like, I'm an open-minded guy, like you guys are all fucking backwards, like we're not gonna worry about it. But anyways, fast forward, and we're kind of hammered, and we're the only white people out downtown. Like, we're the only ones, and we're just getting like stared at and like mean mugged, and we were like, okay, maybe we should get the fuck out of here. So we go, and we're walking under this one little like overpass type thing, and there's this group of guys, and one of them comes up, and he like puts his foot next to mine. He's like, "Oh, we have the same size shoes," and I thought they were gonna try to jump me or something. And I was like, "Fuck, dude."
I've been jumped for my shoe. Well, I've been jumped for a reason, but they stole my shoes.
Yeah, and I thought that's what was going down, and I was like, "Dude, son of a bitch, just my luck."
Fuck. These are new too.
Yeah. But what it was a distraction. Maybe I pulled out my phone or something, so I knew right where it was. So like as he was like fucking around distracting me with my shoes, reached in and grabbed my phone. I didn't even feel it. And then we walked down the street, and I think I maybe kind of realized, and I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch!" And then I'm thinking, did I leave it at the bar? And I'm like, "Nope, it was those motherfuckers." And one of them rolls up on a bike. He's like, "Hey, I think you lost something. I can help you get it back." And it's like where they try to just like sell it back to you. Like go hit the ATM, give them $200 or whatever. And
then they hold you at night for gunpoint and tell you to take out all your money.
You never know.
Yeah.
There's
the T trap in China.
Totally. But I was like, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I have insurance. I don't give a fuck about that
Yeah.
phone. I was
Do you
like,
even know
go
what that
fuck
is?
yourself. I was like, you're not going to unlock it. I was like, I'm going to fucking wipe that bitch before you can even do anything with it. You just wasted your fucking time. I was just like pissed at that point.
Yeah.
But then go back to the Airbnb. But then I was like paranoid because my girl's like hammered. I'm pretty drunk too. So I get her phone and I'm calling all like the banks and T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I'm like initiate like a remote wipe the device and like cancel anything that's on there. And it ended up being fine because we had all like tickets and final reservations on her shit. So really it was just inconvenient. But I did think if I was by myself, you had all your tickets, all your Airbnb bookings, your rental cars and all that shit. And it's just like, boom, and you don't have a computer. Yeah. That's a problem.
Not to bring up my horrible story again, but when you started that, I was like, it was something about the hotel.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get into the hotel. They wouldn't let me in for some reason.
Yeah,
I forgot what it was. I didn't have something. And so I was like, I need a place to stay, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a pain in the dick now at this point, you know, or even if your phone just dies and you're on the other side of the world. I mean, as long as you got your passport and you can get some money, I mean, you'll be all right, but it's still super pain in the ass.
Yeah. I have some of the other experiences where before modern day technology where I didn't have a SIM card in a foreign country, supposed to meet with someone.
Yeah.
But then the train went in the wrong, or not wrong, but a different, I don't know what they call them, docks or whatever, you know, at a train station, you go through like 1 through 9 or whatever. It's supposed to come in at 1. We'll meet you there at this time.
Yeah.
Nope, we're on 9. Fuck. Okay. Now let's try to find each other, you know? And luckily, on my way out, I heard my name being called. And I was like, oh, thank God.
There's something cool about that.
And then I got T-boned, like probably an hour later.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Where were you at?
Germany.
Oof.
I went from Rammstein to Berlin to meet up with a friend. This was on my terminal leave, actually. Yeah, went up to Delaware, then slept on the bottom of a C-17.
Nice.
To Rammstein for a free flight on Space A.
Yeah.
And then I think my brother was, but I didn't meet up with my brother at that time. He was in Bavaria. But then I was meeting up with a friend in Berlin. And they were supposed to pick me up. But then I was like, fuck, we went into the wrong, or we didn't go in the wrong place. They changed it. It's like changing gates kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? And, but it worked out. Super fun.
Yeah. I mean,
those stories, I think, build character, you know?
They do.
And it's kind of like what you were talking about earlier about, like, you know, or we were talking about, like, how your upbringing of being challenged or being put in difficult situations, like, how you face that situation, you know? You handle it one way. Is it the best way? Who knows? But you handle it that way, and you learn and you adapt, and that's where I said, what was the word I used? What was the word I said? Elasticity.
Mm-hmm.
You know? The flexibility you are in different situations. If you're so rigid and stiff.
Yeah, like the minor, like a minor inconvenience will just crush you.
Crush you. You break down mentally. I don't know how to get past, you know, this. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. I love that one
Start
line.
with the breath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Quentin Tarantino movies in general, but Inglourious Bastards, towards the end where they capture, like, what's his name, Christopher Waltz, whatever character he was playing, the, like, main German Nazi guy, and they cut a swastika into his forehead, and because they're supposed to be trading him, like, he bartered for his freedom or whatever, you know, as the war was coming to a close. But anyways, he's like, you'll be shot for this, and then Brad Pitt's character is like, more like chewed out. Yeah. I've been chewed out before.
Yeah. Well, since you brought up that subject, let's go down a rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see the show Hunting Hitler?
Is that the one that Tim Kennedy did?
Yeah.
I saw some of it. Yeah.
I went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think he escaped? And I mean, first of all, we can backtrack. Do you think there was a large population of Nazi executives or generals that fled to South America?
I think that's a fact.
That's a fact.
As far as I understand it.
We'll start there.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
I believe that to be true.
Do you think there was a motive behind it?
I mean, outside of just purely escaping, I wouldn't know if there was some other deeper motive outside of just escape and get away with it, essentially.
I would suggest that show. They do. You have to like. Don't watch it live. Good thing we can fast forward because they always repeat the same clips, and stuff like that. Where that takes up too much time. It's like a 4-season thing. I don't know how many seasons it is, but it can be condensed. If you get the cliff notes. But
yeah, like you were saying earlier,
it's very fascinating because what they do show a lot in South America. There's so much more. Not even just infrastructure, but.
They're like whole Bavarian communities that still even exist.
Bariloche, Chile.
Yeah.
It's all Germanic. But they had camps down there, too.
Really?
Yeah, and they had all these outposts. They have a lot more. So not to go down that, but it's a very interesting thing. And they talk about what their hypothesis was,
I mean, it's possible. It's possible that he escaped, especially back in those days. It's like... You don't have all this like DNA technology or whatever,
No.
And how easy
all
was
that
it?
like started in like the 70s, like late 70s.
Yeah, dude.
So like anyone, even my ancestor was a cowboy, get away with murder. You know what I mean? Like,
and how
just
easy?
think of it like what 50 years ago.
Yeah, how easy was it also to like pull the wool over our eyes, like even as a society?
Yeah.
One thing you knew is like what the one news station would say, or the newspaper even back
newspaper,
then.
yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, I guess, or the guy on the radio. That's your only connection.
Yeah.
So you're trusting that the story remained true, across all these different people, and then was delivered through that newspaper. And you're like, I guess that's what happened.
One thing that kind of, I don't want to say saddens me, but something I like to think about is like, ancestor was a cowboy. We have newspaper clippings of them being the first settlers and like outside of El Paso, interacting, meeting, getting stopped by Indians and getting sent back. I think it was to like Louisiana or Alabama, and then coming back the next year, no Indians there to be able to set up shop.
Yeah.
So that in being Jones and related, or not related, but Indiana Jones, it kind of like, it's sad to like, you can't explore any new physical landscape frontier.
Not really.
No, I mean, you can go in the Rockies and be alone for sure, but it's like,
Yeah.
you can't just go explore uncharted territory, without being monitored or whatever the case may be. It's like,
maybe the Amazon a little bit, but that's pretty gnarly.
I mean, you can go hide somewhere, but it's all owned. It's either public or private land.
Yeah.
Like every piece of land,
Right.
all around the world.
There is no frontier anymore.
There's no frontier. Every land is owned now.
Space. That's it.
Exactly. Only space, really. Or underwater.
Yeah.
I mean, it's international, right? No, who owns that if it's international?
Nobody, I guess.
Could I build an underwater house somewhere?
I think you could. Like, if you had the means, and you were far enough off.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could make like an RV equivalent that can go underwater, and you have a little capsule that you open up with your scuba gear.
Yeah.
Instead of your scuba flagpole, your little dinghy is up there on the water. Mm-hmm. Ace Ventura style.
You got some, yeah, totally. With your little fan. Hey, you got like a little dome house, like on the bottom of the ocean. You're in international waters. You had it built, like you said. You got your little sub, and you got your boat up top. That way, when you go travel around and go back to the mainland.
Yeah, fishing. All you have to do is put a string out.
Yeah, dude. I wonder if that exists already, like underwater facilities that are kind of secret. I mean, I think it's totally possible. Maybe that's where Jeffrey Epstein lives now.
Is he living?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's an interesting one on its own. That whole thing, and the way that everyone, at least from the government level, just seems to always want to like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Like, let's move on.
I think I tried watching the Netflix thing. I don't know if it's a documentary or what.
Yeah.
And I think I was like gonna like either throw up or I just felt so sick, like in the first like 15 seconds of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's like the nature of what I know of.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's horrific. And I don't even want to like give my attention to this topic.
Yeah.
You know, because it's so bad.
And the implications
I'd rather
are huge.
watch a YouTube video on learning something or a music video than give attention to like, yeah.
I know because it's like too much. Like because like I said, the implications are fucking horrendous. You know, if you start to think
Shouldn't give attention to these people that are like.
But if there's a whole bunch of people that are in power that are like literally calling shots like around the world, and they're all just a bunch
That's
of
where the
fucking
attention
creeps.
should go for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck the Netflix on about him being a scumbag.
Yeah.
Let's do a Netflix on all the scumbags that are still here right now.
Exactly.
You know?
Some of them in DC still to this day.
All, yeah.
You know, and it just it kind of like breaks my brain a little bit. So the thing that I always say, because you can't save the world, and you really can't even influence your nation that much unless you really want to try to get involved and work your way up through that cesspool, which would be a fucking nightmare.
Can you influence your neighborhood?
That's what I'm saying. But you can be a good friend, you can be a good neighbor, you can be a good dad, you can be a good husband, you could be there for the people in your community.
Yeah.
And that's great. And sometimes that's just enough, you know, because the world's problems are too big and too overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I do feel you can, I'm not saying don't spend any attention or effort trying to, you know, preach what you believe, but like start with yourself, you know, like it's kind of like you said, you wouldn't take physical training advice from someone that's obese.
Right.
It's like someone that doesn't have their life together, or, you know, and that can be obviously be on a scale of factors, but who are they to think they're the smartest person to understand a country level or even a state level or a city level or any level and all the facets that are operating and all the politics, and then inner city, outer city, geo politics, you know. That's why it's like, you know, I do like debating some topics with some of my friends, and, you know, that are probably on different sides. And it's always like, we should do this one thing, but it's like, you know how it is, especially with the military background. If you change one thing, something else has to change.
Yeah.
It's not just that one thing.
There's a cascade of effect.
There's a cascade effect. If you change anything in life, something else has to change. And so it's like, okay, well, if you're going to say this, we could agree on that theoretically, but then we also have to look at this. And then once you look at this, you also have to look at this. And so it's like, you can never, like if you debate about one topic, it's like, I think you can debate like morally.
Yeah.
But then you can't debate like the very specific details of it until you've looked at everything.
Right.
You know?
You got to do full-blown analysis. Like, what are the outcomes actually going to be if you implement X solution? Yeah, I mean, it's like it's all, everything's interconnected, and that's why some topics are so silly. Like, because it's just people want to make it so black and white, and it's just some dumb shit that people get hung up on. I'm like, still to this day, you know, you'll have major political debate going on, and it all comes back to just like abortion. And I'm like, oh my God, we got bigger fish to fry, dude. Like, why are we obsessed with talking about abortion constantly?
Yeah.
Fucking, there's other shit to worry about.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
The thing I like about debates is it's or like political or presidential debates is similar to how I interview, or when I did interview people, I would make my decision within probably the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I knew right away.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that
about
kind of gut feeling.
Gut feeling, but how you carried yourself.
Yeah.
How you walked into the establishment, how you greeted someone. Like, I do feel you can teach almost anything to anyone, but they need to have that motivation or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's like that character, you cannot teach character, you cannot teach motivation. You can't teach all those things. Mm-hmm. That comes from within.
Yeah.
And so you can immediately identify someone if they have potential
Yeah.
just based off that.
Although I will say, I agree with you 95% of the time. I would say that, though, that there is the occasional, like, 5% outlier to where initially you're like, this person's off-putting. I'm not fucking interested in anything this dude has to say. Fuck this guy. And then after a little bit of time, they kind of like grow on you, and then might even be like, oh, I fucking love this dude.
Yeah.
He's like the star of the show.
Yeah.
When I first met him, I thought he was a cocksucker.
Yeah.
And, I hated him.
Yeah.
Thought there was nothing there. But after a little bit of time, like, it worked out. But again, 95% of the time, though, I do agree that initial reaction is typically pretty strong and typically pretty correct.
I agree with you 100%. One of my really good friends, I was the only person that said no on hiring him. And he got hired, and now he's one of my really good friends.
Yeah.
But at that moment in time, I didn't think he was the best candidate, but he became a great friend. So
yeah, man. Oh, shit. Toast?
Do you have one?
No. We can probably wrap it, though, bro. I do, but why don't we wrap it? Do you?
We're at hour 5.
Yeah. No, I think we're like 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
really?
we're about 2 in. Yeah, maybe we'll go hit the bar or something if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, bro.
Of course.
It's been a good time.
Oh, wait. I didn't get to ask you my question.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
And it's actually not even mine. Well, it's going to be my question.
Okay.
But I didn't explain the name of the podcast.
This one?
Yes.
Mine's Information. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a play on words.
Okay. I think I missed that, and I think someone else picked it up.
Yeah. So just as it stated, mind's information, like your mind's information,
Okay.
just like
I missed that.
Yeah. So there's that, but it's also like a little bit of an ode to my military background.
That's what I picked up on.
And it could be like minds in formation, like you're standing in.
So that's what I picked up on. And my wife was like, "Is it not mind's information?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I didn't even think about that."
It's both.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well
done.
Thanks,
You have
man.
ADHD.
Yeah, probably.
Just kidding.
Yeah, congratulations. Take your pills.
No, just kidding.
You got any Adderall?
No.
We could snort it off each other.
No. I hate Western pharmaceuticals.
But all right, brother. Well,
All
thanks
right.
for coming.
It's a wrap.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the show out. See you next time.